Hey geeks, it's Minx, and I'm going to do our Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 4 review, so if you haven't seen it, you might want to go check it out before you watch the rest of this video. I'm doing it a little bit different today, to try and get a little quicker through the material. I chose about 10 scenes that stood out to me, personally. So let's get started. Start at the bottom. Number 10, Theon goes home. So Theon makes it back to the Iron Islands in surprisingly record time. He comes in via boat to end up chatting with his sister, who's like visibly pissed off. She's grieving for their dad, who's kind of a bite in the ass. And, she's like, why are you here? And yelling at him, and he's blubbering like a baby. But he says, you should rule the Iron Islands, let me help you. And I thought it was kind of one of those moments where if they would have left it on them a little longer, we might have actually seen a hug or something. But he got home, and so he's actually going to be there for the King's Moot, which should be pretty interesting, because I'm pretty sure he's not there in the books. Number 9, Marjorie actually gets to see her brother Loras, and it looks like he's been getting the shit kicked out of him probably every day by those big bruisers that the Faith Militant has employed. It was really heartbreaking. She's like hugging him, telling him, you have to stay strong. He goes, stay strong. He goes, I don't care anymore. I just want it to stop. Help me make it stop. Like, they have driven him to the point of he wants it to stop, and most people will know what that means. So that's actually really, really sad to see him go from Mr. Confident Knight to getting the shit kicked out of him every day. Number 8. Littlefinger uses Robert Aaron, or Robin, who's kind of a derp. He's like a huge derp. He's trying to, shoot a bow and arrow, and he's, squinting an eye, and I don't even know archery, and I know he's not even holding shit right. And he is missing like crazy, shanking it off to the right, down, center. You can tell he's been missing the entire time. Seriously, it can't be that hard. Ugh. I thought they trained these kids from birth to do stuff like that if they're lords and stuff. Gotta be able to hunt and whatnot. Anyway, we see Littlefinger work his usual creepy uncle magic and turn the situation around to make someone else seem like they're to blame. Because, of course, Peter Baelish does not accept the consequences of his actions ever. I'm hoping that changes next episode, because it looks like he might get a confrontation with Sansa, and I hope she just murderalizes him. Number 7 is kind of my WTF moment. Osha gets shanked in the neck by Ramsay. She almost got the knife. She almost got another knife and almost shanked his ass, and she was totally going to. This makes me worry so much for Rickon's safety. Oh my god, that poor kid. At this point, if that really was Shaggy's head in the last episode, I really worry for him now that he doesn't have his direwolf and he doesn't have Osha to protect him. So I really hope he survives the episode and is reunited with his sister and his brother. Because, seriously. Or sister and his cousin. I really hope. I really hope. But we'll see how it goes, I guess. Number 6, getting to see Tyrion do his bargaining, showing his natural politician side, trying to make the proper, moves to end slavery, but do it without, all of the war that's going on. He's faced with, which I can only stop one at a time, so we're going to go with the war first, which is kind of interesting, and I liked the differences of opinion even within the room, not just with the slavers who were obviously like, whatever, little man, but, with Melisandre and Grey Worm, just being very anti, why are we meeting with these people? They're slavers. They think of us as products, not people. It was interesting to actually get to see kind of the inner workings of that little setup, and how Tyrion kind of very carefully, you can tell he's walking a very fine line right there, very carefully trying to set things up so that they don't all fall over. So that was really cool. It's kind of like the Varys scene from last episode. Um, Number 5, I'm super excited for this. All of my top 5s I'm really excited for. Number 5, Queen of Thorns prepares for battle. That's right. After it is revealed that Marjorie is going to be taking a penance walk, much like the one that Cersei had, Queen of Thorns is like, girl, this ain't happening. I would not want to piss that woman off. She is a very intimidating woman, and I think an army would totally just be like, whatever you want, whatever you say, ma'am. Yeah, I would not want to piss the Queen of Thorns off, like, ever. So she's going to be gathering her army, and it's said by Jaime even that the Tyrells actually have the Tyrells. Which do you guys prefer on that? The Tyrells have the second largest army in Westeros, so that's important information to file away for later. Especially as we're all talking about, as all of these different armies are coming together and building up. So that'll be exciting, and I know in the trailers leading up to the season, we actually saw part of that army like marching up the stairs of the Sept with Mace Tyrell right up in front. So that'll be fun. I think that'll be a really fun scene. I want to see some action. Damn it. Number 4, and this was actually what started off the episode. Jon and Sansa are reunited. Brother and sister just have a moment of kind of relief, like, oh my god, you're alive. Oh my god, we're together now. We're gonna stick together. Because Stark stick together, even though we know Jon is not that kind of Stark. So, yeah, it was a really heartwarming scene. There were a couple of people who looked really confused. Maybe they think he has a thing for redheads or something like that. I don't know. But it was really heartwarming to actually see them get together, and the relief that seemed to be washed over them. Watching the other scenes where, they're sitting there and, just like, God, I was rotten to you. I'm so sorry. It's like, well, I didn't really help things either because I was, emo kid in the corner, kind of a thing. But it was cool to see them just instantly just kind of bond together, which was cool. It leads me into my number 3, and this is just really small, and it's just a really small thing that happened. It actually happens kind of twice. Is Tormund Giantsbane giving the eye to Brienne? Yeah. This part made me freaking lose it. I was giggling so hard. And after watching it a second time, because I'm crazy like that, I actually noticed that when they first came in with Sansa, Pod, and Brienne, he was out in the courtyard, and he actually like stops and just stares as Brienne rides over, like, holy hell, like she's like Guinevere or something. I think that's freaking awesome. I think Brienne should jump on that, because I think he's somebody who would actually truly appreciate her. Now, don't get me wrong, part of me still wishes for Jaime and Brienne, because they seem to have an understanding of respect for each other. But if that doesn't happen, dude, the Tormund and Brienne ship is sailing. Toot toot, all aboard. This happens shortly before my number 2, which is the pink letter. This was a really big thing in the books that they've had to adjust for TV, since they changed quite a bit of what's already happened. But it's pretty much this nasty ass letter from Ramsey talking about how John needs to drop off Sansa, or a whole lot of pain's gonna happen. They're gonna flay his little brother. They're gonna rape Sansa in front of him. That he's gonna scoop his eyes out with a spoon. All this crazy shit because Ramsey is a crazy mofo. Okay, it's talking about all this stuff, all this stupid crap, and pretty much Sansa is just pretty much her. Dude, Sansa grew some balls in this episode, and she is just like, no, we have got to go retake Winterfell. We've got to kick his ass. We've got to retake everything that was ours, everything that was taken from us. It's very similar to what Jaime said to Cersei when he's like, we're going to take everything back that they've taken from us and more. I feel like this was Sansa's way of saying that to her brother. Which is kind of a cool, other side of the coin thing, showing that kind of a similar situation is going on in each family, which is kind of cool. And the last but not least, my number one was Dany got unboring. She actually did something. And by doing something, she lit shit on fire and fucking killed all of the leaders of the Dothraki. And she, of course, being the unburnt, freaking survives this shit. Now, I get why they did this, because it's a TV and it's harder to explain away some of the intricacies from the book. Because in the book, the only reason she survived the fire when she put the eggs in was because blood magic was happening at the time and was in effect. But they're not going with that for the TV show, and honestly, we would have known that from the very first episode. But whatever, I can let it go. It was a really awesome scene. She walks out, all of her clothes are burned away, and she's just standing there just looking like a total freaking badass. So finally, she's actually doing something. So we get to look forward to see where she goes, if she's going to march them through the other... I wonder if she's... what I would do if I was her, I would totally take them. And instead of taking them to Marine, I would march them through and freaking raid Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis and be like, bitches, slavery ends now! Now! So that was the 10 moments in this show that actually stood out to me the most. What stood out for you guys? Let me know in a comment down there. I try and answer any comment that I see. Also, if you want to catch my other reviews, because you liked this review enough, then click that little red button down there that says subscribe. I do these every week. So I guess I'll see you guys next Monday. Later, geeks.